Shalom. This week's Torah portion, Chaye Sarah, represents the passage of time through the narrative of Sarah, Abraham, and Isaac, the first two generations of the Jewish people. In it, Sarah and Abraham die, and their son Isaac marries. In the midst of these life cycle events, we read the poignant verse, Va'avraham zakein ba bayamim, v'Adonai barech et Avraham bakol. Abraham was old, advanced in years, and God blessed Abraham in all things. The Torah had me until bakol. Really? In all things? Abraham was chosen to father two nations. He developed a strong and honored reputation among the kings and leaders of the land. He was God's go-to, and he acquired great wealth. He knew true love as a husband, a father, an uncle, blessed for sure. But in all things, the verse rises from the text with shrill dissonance as it follows Abraham burying Sarah, weeping in grief. In all things? And that question is further piqued by their marriage. While it was certainly long and loving, it was far from harmonious. They struggled for decades with infertility. That sparked a period of mockery and bullying between Sarah and Hagar, her handmaid, leading Abraham to abandon Hagar and their son Ishmael in the wilderness. Amidst this mess, God called Abraham to bind Isaac to an altar and sacrifice him. Now, in the end, yes, God provided a substitute ram, but that is a hard thing to forgive. Father and son never talked again. And Abraham's failings and traumas were not just personal, but also professional. He pleaded with God to spare the residents of Sodom and Gomorrah, and the next morning awoke to see smoke rising from the distance. It was smoke from the destroyed cities. Judaism doesn't sugarcoat. All people suffer. People, no matter how reputable, sometimes behave basely, often causing lasting hurt to others, sometimes to those closest to them. We can work hard and act nobly, and those efforts may fail. Bodies, no longer how long they survive, suffer injury and ailment, and of course, as mortals, the path we walk must sometime come to an end. And still, we are taught that every moment, even a moment weighted by sorrow, by grief, contains blessing, even when that blessing seems nearly impossible or impossible to recognize. One of Abraham's descendants, early Zionist and prolific Israeli poet Leah Goldberg, also lived a life with extreme highs and lows. She was a great leader of our people who leaves a lasting legacy, poetry and prose for people of all ages, translations, plays, scholarly works. Like Abraham, her words were celebrated when she was alive, and like him, her work is still celebrated today. And like Abraham, Leah spent her life searching for home. Her family was forced to flee back and forth between Russia and Lithuania. Living in desperate conditions, her little brother died in infancy. Like Abraham, her family was torn apart. Leah's father, arrested by Lithuanian authorities and tortured, suffered permanent mental injury, and she never saw him again. That and other family illnesses informed her decision not to have children. While she had several romantic relationships, she never married. She and her mother lived together, devoted to one another, until Leah died of cancer at 58. If you look at the screen, there is going to be a poem of hers that may help us better understand the Torah saying, Barech et hakol, blessed in all things. In fact, Leah goes further, pointedly saying that that is not just true for Abraham, but for all of us. I divided the poem into 3 different sections. I'll be giving a little bit of explanation for each. End of road poems. The road is very pretty, said the boy. The road is very hard, said the youth. The road is very long, said the man. The old man sat by the road to rest. The sunset dyes his white hair gold and red. The grass shimmers at his feet with evening dew. The last bird of the day sings above. Can you remember how hard, how long was the road? So the you here that Leah puts into this stanza is the reader. She speaks to every one of us. She invites those close to Zaken Bayamim, old and advanced in years, to reflect on the path that we have walked thus far in our lives. And she encourages those not quite as far in their life's journey to imagine being further along and looking back. Leah wants us to see how quick we are to label things, even the years of our lives, in absurdly broad terms. Pretty, hard, long. But then as the old man pauses and sits to rest, we see how the white hair of his old age captures the vibrant colors of the dying day in a way that the hair of his youth couldn't. We can almost feel the moisture nourishing new blades of grass as the sun sinks. Barech et hakol. Blessing is always right there for us to witness, to experience, to savor, even and especially in the darkest moments of our days and of our lives. In this next stanza, it seems that Leah is speaking to Kohelet, the author of Ecclesiastes. Tradition tells us this cynical voice belongs to King Solomon in his old age, who looks back over his years and famously declares that life is boring and bland, even worse, meaningless. Leah schools the king, claiming the reverse. There is value in every moment, especially as we grow older and our moments grow fewer. Once we absorb that, we can grab hold of the enlivening thread of possibility that makes its way through every seemingly ordinary day. She writes, speaking to Kohelet, "You said day follows day and night night. You said in your heart, days are coming, and you saw evenings and mornings in your windows, and you said, there is nothing new under the sun. And here you are, aged and old and gray, and your days are numbered, increasingly precious. And you know, each day is the last under the sun, and you know, every day is new under the sun." Goldberg, devoutly secular, an esteemed member of European and early Israeli intelligentsia, concludes her poem with keen insight into the divine mysteries saturating our world, and she models for us humble, heartfelt prayer. I think she would laugh to know that the end of this poem is included as liturgy in prayer books crossing all denominations, resonating through word and song by innumerable worshipers. She writes, "Teach me, my God, to bless and pray for the secret of withered leaves, the brilliance of ripe fruit, this freedom to see, to feel, to breathe, to know, to hope, to fail. Teach my lips a blessing and a song of praise when each morning and night you renew our days, that my day won't be as yesterday and the day before it, so that no day will become habit. Leah echoes what Abraham knew and what Kohelet tragically overlooked. God blessed us in creating us and this world we inhabit, but it is up to us to awaken ourselves by offering blessings in return. When we feel ourselves becoming more morose or detached, we need to pause. By opening ourselves more broadly and offering gratitude, we elevate and more truly experience all that life offers. The rabbis of the Talmud understand this. They instruct us to say 100 blessings a day. There are blessings for almost everything in Judaism. Seeing a beautiful tree, experiencing rain and wind. There is a blessing for bumping into a teacher, and a blessing we say when large groups of Jews gather. One of my favorite blessings is the one we say when we see a living creature, animal or human, who appears differently than we would expect. We might say it when we travel somewhere and see a creature we've never seen before, or a dog walking through Central Park with only 3 legs. If we see a person who is dressed in a way that surprises us, or whose appearance or speech or skin or hair or name is in any way new to us, we must respond with appreciation to God who created that person and our good fortune to encounter them. Even and especially if we feel a sudden surge of suspicion, fear, or disdain, we grab hold of that urge and we transform it toward gratitude, blessing God, the creator of all. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam mishaneh habriot. Blessed are you, God, who makes creatures so different and distinct. Sometimes the weight of the world feels so close that it makes it hard to breathe, much less feel gratitude. Leah lived in that reality not through her cell phone screen, but in the immediacy of her life, and yet she validates our lived truth, not by expressing the heartache of illness or exile, but in reminding us that a browned and withering leaf shares a stem with a luscious, vibrant, ripe fruit, right there for us to see on any given day. Va'avraham zakein ba bayamim v'Adonai barech et Avraham bakol. Abraham was old, advanced in years, and God blessed Abraham in all things. Unlike Abraham, who died at 175, Leah did not live to zakein, to old age. But she provides the wisdom that sometimes only comes with old age, though it doesn't have to, the precious value of every moment. Ba bayamim is often translated, he was advanced in years, but I prefer the more literal meaning, he entered each of his days. The length of Abraham's years aren't what caused him to be barech et hakol, blessed in all things. It was the way he stepped into every day with the fullness of himself, his passion and reason, his fear and faith, cowardice, courage, boredom, anger, and most of all, with love, 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 even when that love carried pain. Let's follow Abraham's lead, reinforced through Talmud and resonating in this prayer poem of Leah. Let's see if we can begin tomorrow and the next day, and maybe that will lead us to do it the next day and the next with blessing. For example, Baruch atah Adonai, I am thankful for this excellent subway karma. Baruch atah Adonai, I am so grateful that my roommate left me some milk for my coffee. Baruch atah Adonai, how amazing it is to be able to dress myself, to have clothes to wear, and to feel the sting of cold because I didn't bother taking my coat out of storage. The Torah had me at Barech, and Leah tipped me over into Bakol, and all of you bring me to blessing. So pause with me for a second. Take in the entirety of emotion and experience that you carry within you right now. Even those emotions and feelings that may seem contradictory but are right there, all bound up with each other. Now consider the enormous blend of experience and emotion that we all hold together as sacred community. And let's bless. The words are on the screen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, shehechiyanu v'kimanu v'higiyanu lazman hazeh. Blessed are you, creator of all, for giving us life, for sustaining us, and enabling us to reach this moment. Amen.